that expression. So therefore, that tells me that it needs to be performed in the correct order. The Menachos Daf, this shall be the law of the Mitzvah. Tia ba'avasi tia, needs to be performed in the correct order. So you can't just say, oh, well, later on in the day, it's going to all add up. You can't do that by the Mitzvah. We did it with the Aimer, but the Aimer doesn't have that expression. Masiv Rav Papa has, let's take note of the names here. Who gave the answer that Mitzvah is different? Rav Papa. Okay. Rav Papa has a question now. Hiktim chatasei la shamai. What are we speaking? Talking about a Mitzvah that became impure. The asham, his guilt offering, is supposed to be brought before his chatas. Let's say he did it wrong. Let's say he brought the chatas first. Hiktim chatasi la shame la yachem emaris bedama el tuber tirasav yitzaiti lebeis asreifa. You can't have someone. You see, what happened was the shechita was done on the chatas first, so the blood needs to be sprinkled of the asham first, not the chatas. So what can you do? You have the blood over here, the chatas sitting. You can have someone with a spoon stirring the blood so it shouldn't congeal. Get another kayan quickly to slaughter the asham, catch the blood, and sprinkle the asham first. And then you'll have the blood of the chatas just that was waiting, that's not congealing because someone's stirring it, so it doesn't congeal. And then he'll be able to sprinkle. You can't do that. It was done out of order. If you're going to say that everything that's performed later in the day all adds up, and it's not necessary to be exactly performed in the right order as exactly in its time, because later in the day it will all add up. I take a total calculation at the end of the day, and it was good. So why is this a problem? Why is this sacrifice? Why do you have to throw away the chatas because it was brought early? Later on in the day it will add up because you're going to bring an asham and it's all going to be good. The Gemara asks, "Amai kamaisav Rav Papa?" Why is Rav Papa asking this question? Rav Papa is the one that gave the answer that a mitzvah is different.
The being.
He says that he has that it shall be, and the mitzvah needs to be performed in order. So he already resolved this question with his answer. Ella Rav Papa hachika kashlei. This is the question that Rav Papa has. Ema hani mili avoda. Maybe when the pasuk says that it needs to be performed in the correct order, that's referring to one of the services. Shchita lav avodahi. Slaughtering is not a service. Why would you say slaughtering is not a service? Because the non-kayan is allowed to slaughter. The services in the temple are performed by a kayan, except for the slaughtering, you're allowed to use a non-kayan. Yisrael or Levi is allowed to do the shechita.
The last 2 months we're learning that.
What is that?
So the last 2 months we're learning that.
Right. So Rav Papa's thought process was that I understand. I know a mitzvah needs to be done. The sacrifices need to be performed in order. Every part of it needs to be done in sequence. However, the slaughtering is not part of the services because you don't need a kayan. Maybe if the chatas is slaughtered first, it's not a problem. And the answer to that would be. Oh, 1 second. Let's go on. And if there's no lack of time, you don't calculate the time in the single day. Let someone stir the blood of the chatas. Go ahead and offer the asham, and then you'll be able to bring the chatas. If you're going to accept this reasoning, Elam Rav Papa, rather Rav Papa says, Hanatam Dreish Lakish, the Kasavar Hayam Mizrach Mater. We have to drop this logic. We have to drop the answer before that we said that you add up everything somewhere in the day, and if it was valid at all anytime during the day, it's considered that it was valid. It doesn't work like that. Really, the day of the Omer, when it gets light in the morning, that already allows for the new Omer to be brought, for the new food to be eaten. That when the day becomes light in the morning of the 16th of Nisan, you're already allowed to eat the new food. And therefore, this Omer was allowed to be brought on the altar because the Jewish people were allowed to eat it, even though it wasn't valid yet. But the Jewish people were allowed to eat the Omer already. How do we see this? Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish both say that afilu bizman shebeis hamikdash kayim, even in the time when the temple was there, Heyer Mizrach Mater, when it got light on the day of the 16th, you're already able to eat the new grain. The Gemara goes on and says, it happens to be that Reish Lakish did not state this explicitly. We're now on 5b. He didn't state this explicitly. We implied it from something else that he said. The Gemara does this often. The Gemara then quotes and says, is it really clear that this is really what he was saying? Maybe he meant something else. Ditzanan. It was taught in a Mishnah. Ein mevi'in minchas bikurim u'minchas behema. Actually, you're supposed to read it. Ein mevi'in mincha u'bikurim. You don't bring a meal offering. You don't bring the bikurim. U'minchas behema. You don't bring a meal offering that comes along with the sacrifice. It's called minchas nesachim. That was the fourth type of sacrifice, of meal offering. Kaidem la'omer. Before the omer. The omer allows the new grain to be brought, and you can't bring any new grain offerings before the omer because you're not allowed to eat it.
How are they being bikurim? It's Pesach.
You're right. It's supposed to be Shavuos. Saying that you can't bring it early. You have to wait for Shavuos. You can't bring it before. We're going to see that, I guess you have to wait. Bim heavy, and if you do bring, it's puzzle. It's invalid. Koidem l'shtei alechem layavi. You shouldn't bring it before the two breads on Shavuos, right? Im heavy. However, if you did bring, then it's kosher. So before the Omer on Pesach, it's invalid. Before Shavuos, it's valid. And Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Amar Reish Lakish, Rabbi Yitzchak says in the name of Reish Lakish, Leishanu, this was not taught, that if it's brought before the Omer, it's invalid. Ella ba'arba asar b'chamisha asar. That's only if it's brought on the 14th, on days before the Omer. Right? On the 14th to the 15th. Aval b'shisha asar. But if you brought it on the 16th in the morning, im hevi kasher. Even though the bikurim wasn't, even though the Omer sacrifice wasn't brought. Alma kasavar, we see obviously, why is it valid? Because Reish Lakish holds, Heyer Mizrach is mater, that once it gets light, it's already permissible. The Gemara seems to accept this, and that would be the answer as to why you're allowed to bring an Omer on the Mizbeach, even though it wasn't valid. Why? Because the Mizbeach can still eat from it, because once it's light, it's permissible to be eaten. The problem is, the Brisa said that you have to wait for another Omer to be brought before you eat this. It should be allowed to be eaten already, if we're going to accept this. Someone's got to ask this. That's just a mitzvah. They quote over here. They quote Rashi Dibra Maschal Ella. Where is that? Rashi here says Rashi on the top. You see Rashi v'haidein shiren echalim the mitzvah lahamtin. There's a mitzvah to wait until the Omer is brought, even though it's not prohibited, but it's still better to wait for them. Okay. Rava Amar, Rava says minchas Omer shekamtzu shleil shmas kshera. You did kmitza on the mincha before the Omer, you did kmitza on the Omer, which is what you're supposed to do. However, you had the wrong intention while you were doing it. The sacrifice is valid. V'shireh ne'achalin, you eat the remnants of it. Ve'in tzricha minchas Omer acheres la'atira, and you don't need another mincha another Omer to come to allow you to eat it. She'in machshava mayeles el misha roy la'avayda b'davar haroy la'avayda b'makam haroy la'avayda. Because the thoughts that the person had while he was bringing this sacrifice don't matter. Because when the thoughts matter, that's only someone that's able to do the Aveda, something that the service is done with, and in the right place. What does this mean? Misha Royal Aveda, what does it mean? Someone that's able to do the service, his thoughts matter. That's Lafuke Kayan Balmum. That's coming to say that a Kayan that wasn't supposed to be doing the service, if he has the wrong thoughts, he doesn't invalidate it, he wasn't supposed to be there anyway, he doesn't count. B'davar royal aved, there needs to be something that was fit for the service to be performed with. Lafuke minchas Omer, the leichazia, the chidushu. This is coming to exclude the minchas Omer, that really, because the minchas Omer has to permit itself. It has to permit itself to be valid. The whole Omer is not allowed to be brought until the Omer is brought. So, because it's permitting itself, so this is a chiddush, and the fact that it's a chiddush means that all I know is what I know. I can't derive other things. It's too much of a novelty, and therefore any thoughts about it don't invalidate it. That's what he says. Maybe it means because it comes from the wheat. Usually minchas come from wheat. This one comes from barley. There's different interpretations here. Okay. What we're explaining now is Rava's logic that even though he had wrong thoughts by the Karban Omer, but nevertheless the Karban Omer is still valid and it's eaten, and you don't need another Omer to be matir it, like Reish Lakish said. Or it's definitely different than Rav that said that it was invalid. And also it needs to be b'makam haroy la'avayda. It needs to be done in the place that's fit to do the service. Lafuke nifkam ha-mizbeach. This is to exclude if the mizbeach had a defect on it. It wasn't perfect. And a Kayan had the wrong thoughts. He would not invalidate a sacrifice at that time, because the place was not fit to do the service anyway. So his thoughts wouldn't matter. Oh boy, falling behind a bit. We'll have to stop here. 5B.